To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay is hard to hear.
No, that's not what I said. I mean, there's a lot of personal stuff in the book. I mean, poor Dougie. I didn't fully appreciate how much people wanted to know there was a difference between me and President Biden. I thought it was obvious.
And everybody made fun of Kamala Harris's book. Everybody. Before it came out. But Kamala Harris's book tour, 107 Days, is about to claim this year's bestseller of the whole year. And it is very easy to bash the revenge tour that she is on, except for the fact that her book is selling like hotcakes. 350,000 copies have been sold. As someone who's trying to sell a book myself, game respects game. Her publisher had to order a fifth printing of the book, bringing the total number of hard copies to 500,000. That is unbelievable, especially for someone who lost. With us now, Mike Nellis, former senior advisor to Kamala Harris. I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago, and they said to me, you know, look, nobody buys a book about Tom Brady and how he lost the Super Bowl. People don't buy books about losers, and yet they are. Why?
Well, I don't think Kamala Harris is a loser. She's the first female vice president of the United States, but she lost an election, I grant you. I think that what Kamala did that a lot of other politicians won't do, she wrote an actually interesting book. Most politicians will give their stump speech to a ghostwriter, take the bag of cash from the publisher, write something boring and vapid and move on. She went out and told her truth. There's genuinely interesting stuff in the book. There's things I agree with, things I disagree with. But she did something a lot of politicians won't do, which is, I think, say her truth at least.
Well, I guess her truth is, to be fair, a lot of grievances. And there's something sort of, I don't know, maybe tantalizing about it. This is how she wrote about her husband. I was looking forward to a special evening with Doug, though we were apart a lot of those days, campaigning in different cities. For my birthday, our staff conspired, so we meet up in Philadelphia. I was wondering what he'd planned for our evening. The simple answer, nothing. He hadn't put any thought into where we'd stay that night, so staff picked a nice place for us. It turned out to be a bland establishment whose red and black decor looked like it hadn't been redone since the 1970s. How does throwing your husband under the bus make you relatable?
I mean, are you married, Leland? I feel like my wife would throw me under the bus in an instant if she could, especially in a book for doing something stupid. So like I relate to that a lot, frankly.
Oh, I guess we're married to different women, but okay.
I guess.
No, I guess if somebody who's trying, if she wants to try and have a political career after this, how does that sort of say to someone, I am a leader, or that I can be relatable, especially to men? What man wants a woman who's going to call him out like this? I don't know.
I mean, I like being married to a woman who calls me out. Frankly, I find it to be
not in a book, but yes, okay.
In a book, I don't care. Look, they have their own relationship, and having spent time around both of them, it is one of the probably strongest partnerships I've ever seen, working with a lot of candidate spouses. But you ask how it helps her reestablish her political career. I'm not entirely sure that's what she's doing here. I think that she had an opportunity to tell her side of the story, and she's doing it. And how many people complained in this last election that they didn't get a chance to see the real Kamala Harris, to see her be interesting, for her to tell her side of it, that the staff didn't give her an opportunity to fulfill that, and now she's doing it and people are going to complain. Like, I don't understand that. Like,
no, I'm actually not complaining. I think it's actually pretty interesting. You know, the political view of it's different, right? The Washington Post just bashed it. The former VP has managed to put on a book tour even less compelling than her presidential campaign. Maybe this proves why the Washington Post is something that nobody reads anymore. Is Harris a brilliant political mind who simply freezes up in front of cameras? Alas, taking the time to organize her thoughts in writing doesn't help much. Indeed, virtually every page of her book, 107 Days, offers a glaring reminder of why she failed to close the deal. So which is it, that the real Kamala Harris is in the book and that is unlikable and the reason she lost, or she just should add to the grievances of 107 Days that she wasn't able to be herself and therefore that's why she lost?
I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit of both, right? But I fight back against the idea that Kamala Harris is unlikable. She had higher favorability numbers than Donald Trump. I mean, look, Trump goes out there and acts the way that he does every day, and people like it because it's real to him and it's authentic to him. So give Kamala Harris the same opportunity to do that, which I would argue her staff didn't do in the 107-day campaign that she had.
Let me just say, okay, so I get that. I still don't understand, though, how somebody wants to be the president of the United States, and you're now saying the reason she lost is because of her staff. If you can't manage your staff, how do you manage the country?
Well, she was put in one of the worst positions of any presidential campaign candidate in history. She only had 107 days to build up the campaign. I think she didn't even get to build up her team. She basically inherited Biden's. That's a real problem. She talks about it in the book.
Look, Mike, she had you. She had $1 billion. She had the most favorable media coverage that's ever existed. What else could you ask for?
I was on her 2019 campaign for what it's worth. I wasn't on this last campaign, but I mean,
you see, that was the problem.
Here you go.
I haven't read the book yet. Did she say if only for Mike Nellis we would have won?
No, but she did send me an advance copy, which I appreciated. But, at the start of your show, you said all Democratic strategists are overpaid. I'm starting to get worried about my paycheck now.
Oh, boy. All right. Look, this is, I think you make a great point, is whether or not this is burn down the house, make a lot of money, and then move into the private sector, or whether to come back and try to be that candidate, I guess, that's in the book that people are responding to. And sure, there's probably some bulk sales of people, DNC, DCCC, state parties, and everything else. But I just have to remind everybody of the Kamala Harris that we all saw for the past 4 years.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been,
I love electric school buses. I just love them. Raise your hand if you went to school on a school bus, right?
Does it get better or worse for her after the book?
What I don't understand the point that you're making. Like a bunch of clips out of context like that, I don't think is a fair assessment of the vice president.
Well, I think it's very fair that she had a campaign in 2019 that you worked on and it didn't work out.
Sure.
And then she had $1 billion in the most favorable media coverage that was possible and was continually becoming more unpopular the more the American people got to know her during those 107 days. My question is, as I went back to, is this the burn the house down on the way out and she's done with politics? Or is this somehow thinking that the Kamala Harris we see in the book is going to be more likable with greater appeal than the Kamala Harris we saw on the trail in 2019 or on the trail in 2024?
Well, I would push back on the idea that she had the most favorable presidential coverage of every candidate in history, because a lot of times what happens is things get taken out of context. The very first clip that you played there was her describing what she looked like to people who were blind. And Republicans like to take that out of context to make her look silly, which, if you don't know that, it
wasn't
does
necessarily
look
blind, but okay, go ahead.
Sorry, say again?
Keep going.
Oh, okay. I mean, look, I don't think this is a burn the house down style book. I also don't think it's a presidential style book. I think this is I went through a unique experience of the shortest presidential campaign in history. People have a lot of questions. I'm going to answer them. She'll decide what she wants to do later. I think we put things into a box, and that's not how people live their lives.
See, this is why you are worth every penny that you get as a Democratic strategist. It's good to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. First word about this in War Notes. That's your chance for an inside look at the show every day. It is free. We don't have nearly as many subscribers as Mike Nellis does on his Substack, so help us out. Warnotes.com to subscribe, at Leland Vittert on social media.